is everyone's favorite week of the year. It is spring break, am I correct? Someone clapped, I don't know what that means. Just we have perhaps one of the greatest games of all time. Duck, Goose. Yes. Before I do announcements, I wanted to let everyone know of perhaps the greatest event that's coming up, and that is a Nerf night. She's holding up a target. All right, you're gonna have to load it. All right, take aim. Drum roll, please. Oh, there you go. All right, you're gonna have to aim up. You're gonna have to aim down. Where is it? Oh. It's loaded, I promise. Get ready. How you? Oh! All right. Oh, that was close. She can shoot. Oh!
Tonight, we are starting our second week in our Made from Warriors series. But what I want you guys to know is serving is a type of spiritual discipline. And spiritual disciplines just mean that we do things to grow closer to God. This doesn't mean that you get extra favor with God or with people if you do certain things. Like, God's not up in heaven and being like, they're a better person than anyone else because you do these. But the goal is for you to grow closer to Christ through them. And so serving is one of those things for us. And so before I start, I just want us to have like the same definition of what service means. And a simple definition is it's just the action of helping someone or doing work for someone. Which means all of us in this room, we have served people before. How many of you guys went on the mission trip this last year? Yeah, so give it up. So, you guys went and you guys served. I know there's middle schoolers, I know there's high schoolers. You guys have helped us with the fundraising dinners. You guys have worked in the kids on Sundays. You've helped with other things, like a few of you guys helped families sign up for gifts for Christmas. So these are all important things that we do within the church. But serving doesn't just last within the church. Serving also means like at school. Guys, can't stop. Serving means also at school. If someone asks for help on homework Or simply if you need to like help them pick something up, carry something, or even like, hey, I need a pencil, do you have a pencil? Like, those are also acts of service. And so it's not just these large trips that we go on, it's also the small actions that we take to help other people. And one of the best examples we have of service is in the Bible in John 13. So Jesus is about to go on the cross. He has his final meal with his disciples, so his closest people. And it's like a few hours away from everything else happening. And you know what he does? He washes their feet. Which, if you know anything about that time, they were sandals. So like, just think about for a minute how nasty their feet would have been. Like, they would have had dirt, there would have been mud, they probably walked through some type of sewage at some point. Like, their feet are nasty. And Jesus still gets down on their level and he washes their feet. Which, like, an example for today would be like middle school boys. I'm going to pick on you guys for a second. Like, imagine if you didn't shower for like a week and you wore the same socks. How nasty? Okay, we're not going to point. But how nasty would it be for someone to like wash their feet?
It would look like this.
It'd be really gross. Or like high school boys, if you guys get done with practice, how nasty would it be for someone to like wash your feet after practice? Like, not good. But Jesus did that. Jesus did the like, even the lowliest servant would not want to do that job. And Jesus said, hey, I care for people enough, I'm going to serve and do that. He even does it to Judas, which if you know the story, Judas is going to betray Jesus. And Jesus still washes his feet, which is pretty crazy. And so I want to read a little bit into the story, what Jesus tells his disciples to do, if I can get to it. There we go. So he tells them in John 13, verse 14, he says, now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you should also wash one another's feet. I've set for you an example that you should do as I have done for you. He says, very truly, I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. So Jesus tells his disciples, he tells us, hey, you are called to be servants. You're called to serve people. And so tonight, as we talk about serving, I want to give you guys 3 things to help you think about serving in a deeper way. And so the first thing is we must serve with humility. And so if you look in Philippians 2, this is like the humility chapter in the Bible. But the author Paul, he says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves. Not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. And so Paul says, hey, even in service, you're not looking to puff yourself up. You're looking to serve other people. And I'm going to jump to the very beginning of the Bible in Genesis, just to help us be like, hey, if we're here to serve people, if we're here to put them above others, like, why do we do this? And Genesis 1:27 says, so God created mankind in his own image. And in the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. And so we serve people because they're creating the same image that we are. It's not because I'm better than someone else. It's because, hey, God also created them and they deserve to be served and loved for as well. So serving with humility means we don't do it with selfish motives. We care for people. Secondly is we serve with humility because it's one thing if you serve someone so everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're the best. You love people. I saw what you did. But it's another thing if you serve when no one sees it. Because in the Bible, it says that like our goal is to serve and care for people, even if no one else sees it. Like the goal isn't for people to praise you. The goal is for you to be faithful and to care for other people. And secondly, we are called to be servants because we follow Jesus' example. And so I want to read for you guys in Mark 10:45. Andrew and I went to a Bible college that this was like our verse that we said. And it's kind of, I'll read the verse first and then I'll tell you kind of why it's ironic a bit. But it says, for even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. We had a lot of people who sometimes would come on stage and they'd be like, hey, we love this college. We're going to go over the verse. And they would say, like, the Son of Man came to be served. And we'd be like, no. It's actually the opposite. Like, Jesus didn't come to, like, have people serve him, but he came to serve others. Which is a crazy thought, because if you think about that time, all the Roman emperors, they'd be like, hey, I'm from the gods, and everyone is supposed to serve me. But Jesus says, hey, I'm fully God, but I'm going to serve other people. And that's the example that we have from Jesus. And for you guys, if you read through the Gospels, it's the first 4 books. There's so many examples of Jesus caring for people. Jesus being the servant when he doesn't have to be. Like, he heals the blind, he heals the lame, he talks to the people no one else will talk to. He becomes a servant and cares for them. And he doesn't do it in this pompous way of like, I'm better than you. Like, he's kind, he's generous, he's compassionate. And that's the example that we're supposed to follow as we become a servant, like Jesus. And lastly, by becoming a servant, we become more like Christ. And so, the goal for serving is not for you to be, like, the whole goal isn't for you to be like, okay, this is all for myself. But a fruit of serving is that you become more like Jesus. Because you stop thinking about yourself so much. You start thinking about, like, hey, how can I love and care for someone else? You start to see people as God sees them. Not maybe by your own prejudices, maybe not even like how you want to see people, but you say, okay, if God created them, I should love and care for them as well. And this is really cool because our world is broken. There's a ton of sin in it. But if we act like Jesus, we shine his light into a lot of dark spaces that need Jesus. And so that's the hope of serving, is that you are allowing Jesus for people to see him in a different way, which is cool that like people get to see him through you and through how you serve. And so these are kind of the 3 ways that we have for you guys when you think about serving, is to be humble, to follow Jesus' example, ultimately so that you can be his light in the dark spaces and people can come to know him through you. And I know there's a lot of weeks where you guys get to hear from Andrew and I, and you're probably sick of hearing our voices. So what we want to do tonight is we want to invite Asher up. He was going to speak.
So I got the chance to go to Puerto Rico last year on the mission trip. And at first I was probably like a lot of y'all in here. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go. I didn't really know what it would entail, or just kind of like how God would lead me in my life. But some of my friends went to Maui the year before, and they spoke very highly of it, and they told me how amazing it was, so I decided to sign up and go for it. Our trip started pretty early. We did be at the airport at 3 a.m., so it was kind of a rough start, and then when we finally got there were bugs and no air conditioning, so I was like, oh no, what did I get into? But God works in wonders, and the rest of the trip turned out pretty great. So the next day we got assigned our different roles. My job was helping with the summer camp for local Puerto Rican kids. We spent time playing games like Duck, Duck, Goose and other simple stuff. I actually learned some Spanish too, which was kind of convenient. But what really stuck with me was how happy they were. Just spending time with them and doing simple things and playing games, it meant a lot to them. Seeing how something so simple could bring so much joy was really powerful, and it lifted everyone's spirits. And you could just tell the Holy Spirit was at work within everyone there. Another highlight was going to church there. The worship was completely different from what I was used to. There were drums, bongos, music, and tons of energy. Everyone was singing and worshiping and had so much passion. You could tell how much they loved the Lord. It was really powerful and unforgettable experience. And like Kasey said earlier, it's really just puts in perspective that everyone is made in God's image, and there's not just one form of worship. God speaks to people in lots of different ways. We also got to experience the culture a little bit. One day we chopped open fresh coconuts and drank the water right there. I wasn't sure what to expect for the Puerto Rican food, but it ended up being really good. A lot of stew, if you know what that is, but they love it there. And one of the most meaningful parts of the trip happened every night when we got back to the church we were staying in. We had small groups where we talk about the experience that we had that day and about our faith. The cool thing was that groups were assigned, so you ended up talking with people you might not normally hang out with. But because of that, you just got to hear different perspectives of people and just how God had worked in their life. And it just was really interesting to build connections with people and hear how God spoke to them. A lot of groups ended up actually crying. My group didn't, but it got pretty deep. Throughout the trip, it felt like you could really sense God's presence, almost like a spiritual high, if you will. Being in a new place, serving others, and just being surrounded by God and just striving to serve and honor Him, it created this environment where there wasn't a lot of distractions. It felt like you could really grow your relationship with God. If you were feeling kind of down or far away from Jesus, like I was before the mission trip, it would be great for you to go to New York next summer. I can say with 100% certainty that you will improve your relationship with God and your life in general. And honestly, it's also just a ton of fun. Like being there with some of your closest friends, laughing, loving God. It's just like the main like two things in life, like friends and gods. It was awesome. And it just made tons of memories. And at the end of the trip, we even went to a beach resort where we hung out at the beach, threw footballs, and threw back some pina coladas. Virgin, of course, except for Otto. I don't know what he was doing over there. I'm just kidding. But are we going to a resort again? Are we? Resort in New York? No resort this year, but it will be fun, guys, promise. But in all seriousness, when I look back at the trip, it was more than just a mission trip. It helped me grow closer to God, grow closer to my friends, and learn more about myself as a person. That's why I'd really encourage anyone who's thinking about going next summer to do it. If you want to serve people, grow in your faith, and just have an amazing experience with your friends, you should definitely come on the mission trip with us to New York next summer. It's something you won't forget.
Let's give it up for Asher. Hey guys, he really wanted to crowd surf, so maybe after he can still relive that dream, but we'll wait for a second. So, I hope you guys have been encouraged by his story. Tonight we do want to make the push of we would love for you to be on a mission trip with us this summer. So if you have questions, please ask me, please ask Andrew or Logan. We would love to help you get there for the trip. But I also want to remind you, serving isn't just the big trips. Serving is also every day finding someone that you can love and care for and go that extra mile for someone. So as we go into small groups, I want to challenge you this next week to pray and think about maybe someone or somehow God is calling you to be a servant to.